Hello. Last week we reflected on how the disciples encountered the risen Jesus as he appeared to them. However, not everyone was there inside that locked room. One man missed it. I don't know where Thomas was at the time of Jesus' appearance, but shortly afterwards he hears about the experience from the others. They told him, "We've seen the Lord." But Thomas said to them, "Unless I see the nail marks in his hands and put my finger where the nails were and put my hand in his side, I'll not believe." A week later, the disciples were in the house again, and Thomas was with them this time. Though the doors were locked, Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." And then he said to Thomas, "Put your finger here, see my hands, reach out and put your hand in my side. Stop doubting and believe." What must it have been like to be Thomas when the disciples told him, "We've seen the Lord"? Could this really be? He must have asked. Has Jesus really appeared to them? Did I miss it? Why would they make it up? But yet the story they're telling is simply impossible. I'm sure many of us can empathise with Thomas's struggle to believe the experience of the other disciples. At different times, we'll have heard people share their experience of God and the miraculous. And sometimes what they're telling us simply seems impossible. So we'll probably have dismissed their experience. I love the intimacy of Jesus' invitation as he tells Thomas, "Reach out your hand." In the events of the previous week, the other disciples examined the scars on Jesus' hands and side, and they were overjoyed. The difference is that Thomas missed it first time, but he's not left behind. Thomas is deeply seen and known by Jesus, and in his kindness, Jesus makes sure that Thomas sees what he needs to believe. It can be the same for us. Although we can't see God and may have doubts and uncertainty, we're deeply seen and known by God. Some days later, the disciples encountered the resurrected Jesus again whilst out fishing. Peter, an ex-fisherman, had said he was going out to fish, and the others joined him. Perhaps a distraction exercise from the incomprehensible events that they were living through. However, that night they caught nothing. Early in the morning, Jesus stood on the shore, but the disciples didn't realise it was Jesus. He called out to them, "Friends, haven't you any fish?" And then he tells them how to catch an immense number. And in that moment, the disciples recognise the stranger on the shore is Jesus. He invites the disciples to come and eat with him. Peter's response is to jump into the water and head towards him. However, as he raced towards Jesus, Peter still carries the enormous burden of betrayal in his heart, I'm sure. When Jesus faced his darkest hour when he was crucified, Peter denied even knowing him. Now, as he sits around a fire on a beach with his much-loved friend and teacher, I wonder what Peter was feeling. When they finished eating, Peter finds himself alone with Jesus, taking a walk along the beach. In this moment, Jesus does not punish or chastise Peter for his betrayal, as we might do. Instead, he asks him an incredibly simple question about their relationship and Peter's love for him. Mirroring the 3 times that Peter had denied Jesus, Peter now has the chance to say 3 times, "I love you," looking into the eyes of the one he betrayed. Personally, I'm struck by the order of the events in the story. Before Peter's moment of redemption with Jesus, they sit down for a meal together. Jesus doesn't hold back his intimacy or wait for the connection to be restored. He gives himself to Peter, offering feast and friendship despite things still being fractured. For me, I'm reminded of a verse in Romans chapter 5, verse 8. But while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Thanks.